Okay, hello everyone. This is Sharonda, and this is my YouTube channel and podcast all in one, Magic Mind Medium. And so, in this podcast and YouTube channel, I go over things involving the paranormal, occultism, conspiracy theories, belief systems, and practices. I'd like to start off by saying that this podcast and YouTube channel is for entertainment, informational, and sometimes educational purposes. So, the topic, spiritual subject that I'm going to speak about today is New World Order. What exactly is the New World Order? We have heard about the New World Order and this so called conspiracy theory. So, I am on the website. I'm going to read the information and then I'm going to give you my spiritual sense as to what I feel the New World Order is speaking about. So it mentions the New World Order is a term used in several conspiracy theories which hypothesize a secretly emerging I'm sorry, totalitarian world government. The common theme in conspiracy theories about a new world order is that it's a secretive power elite with a globalist agenda is conspiring to eventually rule the world through an authoritarian, one world government which will replace sovereign nation states and an all encompassing propaganda whose ideology hails the establishment of the New World Order as the culmination of history's progress. So, do you believe in conspiracy theories? Do you believe in New World Order and a lot of these uh, anarchy beliefs and ideations about the government in regards to the emergence of end time, antichrist, and things of that nature? Well, I do feel as though um, I think the New World Order, in a sense, is a state of mind. Um, I think the world media and things of that sort is more or less propaganda by way of the mind to give you a synopsis as to how one thinks, how one feels, and how one responds to trauma, um, unfavorable circumstances, something potentially is spiritually, biologically, emotionally going on with the person is what I feel. And this is just my spiritual sense. Uh, Self proclaimed parapsychologist. This is my spiritual sense that I have gotten in terms of a lot of conspiracy theories and things that you may see depicted on television or you may read in articles online and things of that nature. So, my spiritual sense about the New World Order is I think it's your own inner spiritual insight and illumination that you receive from Source, whether it be God, Allah, whomever you refer to your power source as, right? And so, in tackling the New World Order, I do feel as though, as I mentioned before, me being a medium, psychic light, intuitive, or whatever you want to refer to it as, um, you'll begin to see patterns and a commonality and cycling of energies over the course of history, throughout history, right? So I think, in turn, some things transpire in history on a global scale as well as in a more relatable personal um, lives as well that can facilitate whether something is going on in terms of the energy. If we're heading towards mass um, depopulation, even, or if it's something catastrophic that's going on potentially globally or in a region or with ourselves, right? So, oftentimes, when we're going through the storm or we're going through something, this is how it appears to you when you're going through whatever hurdle, obstacle, or whatever the case may be. It seems as though it's globally or galactic. Um, but I honestly feel as though that is a representation of the mind and how one feels. So some of the key factors that I would like to bring up in regards to the so-called New World Order. Number one, religion. So I jotted down some notes because I actually was going to speak on spiritual apathy today, but I decided, okay, let me discuss the New World Order for whatever reason. I think it came across on TV, and I decided, okay, let me give my spiritual sense as to what I feel the New World Order is, right? Okay. So some of the key factors that I received inclination about in terms of the New World Order were number one, religion. I think the New World Order happens on, it's like a cycling of energy by way of certain spirits, right? So, moments in time in history, we know that with gentrification and genocide and things that have occurred globally, that the energy was to move a people away from a space. So oftentimes we may be dealing with our own quote unquote New World Order when there is a need for change, right? A perceived need for change is what I want to state. One of the things that I have gathered over my research and my spiritual sense is the use of religion. I think religion, as I was told, was man, right? Spirituality is by spirit, religion is by man, what is contained in this physical existence. So, by the use of religion, I think it was used to program and or deceive certain spirits in regards to relocation or immigration, if that makes sense to anybody. So oftentimes, when you're in unforeseen circumstances or unfavorable circumstances, to get you to relocate or to go from one space to another space, I think by the use of religion or divination, it will alter your thought process and a scheme will be put in your mind. So can we honestly say by watching certain things in terms of media, TV, television, listening to certain things, well, I do feel as though that does has a lot to do with it as well because the television, media, internet is a form of programming. You retain information, data, and you process it in the scheme of your mind, and based on your circumstances, you may behave accordingly, right? So I think by use of religion, it is used to program the masses. Mass communication is a mass communication tool. So the next thing I want to tackle in regards to the New World Order is religion. Health or the health system. So I think we, in this time in existence, are a reenactment of things that occurred in the past historically in regards to how one was able to acquire certain lands and land spaces and to get certain groups of people to move from one space to the next. Well, I'm going to say by way of the health system was one of those as well. And this is not to offend anyone that's in the health system because I work in the health system as well, right? But I think that there was some battles and some strifes and things that was going on historically, globally, and a lot of things was instituted not only by way of religion and belief system, but by way of health and the sciences to facilitate a transition or to move from one space to the next by use of genocide or whatever the case may be, gentrification. which is basically some of the things that you would go back. If you go back in history, you will find gentrification in a lot of urban areas, or even suburban areas that was um, domesticated by minorities. So some of these things I feel was put into place to evoke change, if that makes sense. And these things still go on even to this day. I think it's a cycling of energy for certain spaces, right? Um, so the next thing that I jotted down in regards to the New World Order is communication. Um, and this is not to be offensive to anyone that may be watching or tuning in, but this is just my spiritual sense and the things that has come to me about why things occur the way they occur, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and make it seem as though I'm perfect and I know it all. No, but I do get a sensibility about certain things. Communication, I think communication by the way of the formation of language or languages or dialects was to prevent one from telling the atrocities and the disparities and things that occurred is what I'm getting at, moments in time in history, why a certain land space had a certain grouping of people and then is inhabited by a different group, if that makes sense to anybody. So I do feel as though by way of language, it's to divide and confuse and prevent certain communication even. So that's my take on New World Order. For telling them how spirits control, exploited people to take over land spaces and things of that nature as well. So I honestly feel as though that is also to get a sensibility about people in your everyday walks of life who may take on this exponential ideation of importance and super inflated grandiose beliefs as well, because you will have some people who wants to take the credit of some things that they have not contributed to, and they have this grandiose self-inflated ideation or belief that is not true. So on my conquest to decipher through the information that I research and read, can one say that a lot of the information that is actually put in books or even the internet or what have you, can one honestly say that it's done by a way of providing a false belief? In my synopsis, what can you believe? In situations such as that, what do you believe? What can you believe? In terms of some things that transpired in history. Am I to believe everything that's... No, I don't believe everything. I don't think the average person believes everything that is put on the internet. Anybody can put things on the internet. So I think once you get a spiritual sense, meaning a spiritual awakening, an epiphany from God, He will make some things apparent to you. And by the way of, I feel psychology, philosophy, to show you imitation, replication to the facts, to what is true versus what is not, is what I feel. Oftentimes you'll find that a lot of the things that it presents in this day and age comes by way of a battle towards the mind or battle of the mind. Can we honestly say that you are in the crossroads of um, some things that happened in history that was not apparent to many individuals, and you yourself, not knowing or being misinformed, got into the crossfire as to a battle that really wasn't yours, a spiritual battle, a spiritual um, annihilation of people or a group of people. So that's my take on New World Order. Now let's see if I'm able to pull up some more information in regards to New World Order. So I do feel as though, although it is considered a conspiracy theory, I think there are some bases to conspiracy theory, is what I feel. I think in essence is to go back to, it's more or less like a reset. That's what I'm getting. A reset to where everybody would be on one common ground and there won't be any differences. And oftentimes you'll find that people that has that totalitarian ideation is because of being overwhelmed with having to take on the burden of so many different energies and spirits. Let's keep it in one accord and let's stay in accordance to that. So that's my take on that. Let's see if I'm able to pull up some more information in regards to New World Order. So again, getting back to speaking about the New World Order as it relates to moments in time in history. So I think with the cycling of energies, basically what has happened is a need for change, a need for update, a need for expanding out to make things different than what they had been, if that makes sense to anybody. Is what I'm getting at in terms of New World Order. So do you believe in New World Order? Do you believe that, I think it is in a sense is speaking about how to get everything in accordance and not to deviate from that. And that's how it would make things more simpler from those who are overburdened with a lot of influx of energies that it can weigh on the mind. Because like I mentioned, I do believe it has a lot to do with the mind and how you perceive things and things of that nature. When you begin to take on all of this extra outside influences and things of that nature, it can bring in problems. I mean, everything in life is going to present problems. I mean, you got to take the bad with the good. That's just the way it works. So, can we honestly say that it's all based on how you are as a person? What you are capable of taking on, what you can handle in terms of challenges that presents in your everyday life. So that's my take on the New World Order. Now, I think I'm going to speak on spiritual apathy on next Sunday. That's what I'm going to do, which would be the 8th. So if nothing else come up, we want to speak about spiritual apathy. I'm also going to go ahead and let you know my schedule for those who may be listening in. So on Sundays, which is today, I do the spiritual subject where I speak about topics involving the paranormal, occultism, as I just mentioned, conspiracy theories, belief systems, and practices. Mondays I do a 10 card. Tuesdays the zodiac sign. Wednesdays the ancestral past life reading. Thursdays the light and dark illumination and revelation readings. Fridays we do the love readings, and Saturdays we do the chakra energy cleansing readings. So I am available up until 8 p.m. today. If you want to book a reading, go on Cannaly.com/Magic Mind Medium. I do find that the readings do coincide to give you clarity and confirmation for those who have a curiosity. Get you at least 2 or 3 decks of cards and begin to work with those cards and see how spirit or source will give you a message and will relate a message to you. That is the truth. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude this episode of Magic Mind Medium. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please comment below. Until then, have a safe and wonderful day.